Hey guys, good morning, and I hope you guys are all safe and well. And I really hope that you guys are all doing well in your health and in your studies. And I want to welcome you once again for this Saturday's reflection classes. Well, I don't know how many of you saw my last video, which was titled Be a Winner. And just want to revise, yes, we all want to win, so we need to do a few things to win, right? And that's what we are going to see today. And before that, I've shot a video of a new song, and I hope you guys see that and enjoy. God bless you.
In the jungle, yeah, walking in the jungle with me. In the jungle, yeah, walking in the jungle with me. In the jungle, where the lions roar. In the jungle, where the eagles soar. In the jungle, far away from home. In the jungle, I've never been alone, because the one who made me and all I see is walking in the jungle with me. In the jungle, ooh, ooh, in the jungle, yeah. He's walking in the jungle with me. In the jungle, where the trees are tall. In the jungle, where the creatures crawl. In the jungle, the Lord is my guide. In the jungle, He gives me peace inside, because the one who made me and all I see is walking in the jungle with me. In the jungle, ooh, ooh, in the jungle, yeah. He's walking in the jungle with me.
Yeah, so in the jungle, even at difficult situations, a jungle is a place where we hardly feel anybody there in our lives. In our lives, we too, at some point of time, we feel that there is nobody walking with me. But there's one person in this world, and that is God, who will never ever leave you. So that's what the song means. Okay, so let's talk about be a winner. Okay, let's talk about how to win. So the first point, we are going to continue the series maybe for another, maybe for this Saturday and the next Saturday. Well, the most important thing to win, what could it be? Could you just think for a second? If you really need to win, what should you do? What should I do on my part to be a winner? Well, I came across a lot of points, and then I think the most important thing to win is that we need to obey, right? We really need to obey. Well, in any game there are coaches, right? You have a cricket coach and you have a football coach. Well, you guys might be, and you have a coaching. Why do you go to coaching classes? So that your teacher coaches you well and you obey what your teacher says, and that is when you get victory. In a game of cricket, you listen to what your coach says, and that is why you win. So the same way in life, God has given us a lot of people who are experienced in many ways in life, and those people are called teachers, elders, and your parents. Yeah? So these people who are already experienced in life put out some points to you, and sometimes we feel, अरे यार बकवास मत करो, इतना एडवाइस कौन देता है, हम लोग को यही लगता है. We feel that they are all old fashioned. But dear guys, even when I was small and when I was doing my school, I used to feel the same thing. But at the end of the day, I did understand that, what if I obeyed my parents? What if I obeyed my teachers? My life would have been better. Until the time I realized that my life had gone across, my life had gone far too back, in a bad way. And later, after I realized, I had to come back to the path. Yeah, so that is what we experienced people in life, we want to give you advice that, always obey your teachers and your parents, because they have already seen what life is, and they will actually help you to get to a better place. And I do believe, once you finish your 12th standards and all, and once you go and sit in the college and you think, and you will definitely come to that conclusion that, wow yaar, ये टीचर के वजह से आज मैं ऐसा हूँ, ये स्कूल के वजह से आज मैं ऐसा हूँ, या मेरे मम्मी पापा के वजह से मैं ऐसा हूँ, या कोई भी किसी के वजह से आप, यू हैव वन इन योर लाइफ. एक स्टेटस आप लोगों को यही लोग लेके आते हैं. यू आर इन दैट वन गुड स्टेटस just because you were following what your elders and what your teachers were saying. Dear friends, it's very, very important to obey. If you need success in your life, if you need to win in life, you definitely have to obey, not just listen. Remember, obedience is to follow each and every instruction given by your teachers or by your parents, and that is very important. कई लोग बोलते हैं कि हम थोड़ा सा बात मानेंगे, दूसरा चीज में अपना दिमाग लगाऊंगा. नहीं 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 नहीं. For some things in life, you need to obey it completely. I just want to share with you one small story. There was a guy called Gideon. You can definitely browse on the internet and find about Gideon. Gideon's background was, he was a big coward. You know what coward is? Coward means darpok. And at that point of time, there was war, and there was war happening and going on between two big cities, and they were called the Israelites and the Midianites, and that country is still there today, Israel and Midian. Okay, and there was a big war going on, and the Midianites were huge people, and they used to come and hit and take away the people from Israel to become their slaves, and the Israelites were really worried, and they used to pray to God, God, please deliver us from these people. Those days people used to be very close to God. Anything, whatever happens, they used to cry back to God. And then God showed a way. God chose Gideon, जो सबसे डरपोक था. Now the point is here, okay? वो सबसे डरपोक था, and God is asking Gideon to make a large army, to make an army, not a large army, to make an army and go and fight the Midianites. And Gideon was saying, God, why me? आपको अच्छा से जानता हो, आप अच्छा से जानते हैं, जब ये मीडियनाइट लोग मेरे घर के आसपास भी आते हैं, मैं तो सबसे पहले मैं भागता हूँ, और आप मेरे पास आके ये बात कह रहे हो. And you know what God said? Hey, Gideon, I'm choosing you to be a leader. Gideon तो और दिमाग खराब हो गया, saying, God, what? You want me to be a leader? Come on, God, I can't do it. Then God says, listen, just obey me. Step by step, I'll be leading you. Just obey. God said, and then, God kept on saying, and Gideon was very, very, not satisfied, and saying, God, no, God, I can't do it. I can't do it. In life, sometimes we also say, I can't do it. I can't do it. And Gideon also said this, I can't do it. Then Gideon finally says, okay, God, how will I ever know that you are with me? Then God says, you test me. And you know what? Gideon tested God, and finally if I go on to say the tests, what Gideon did, it'll take a long time. But yes, he tested God, and then he finally found out that yes, it is God who is speaking to him. And then he starts obeying God. And then he made an army of 32,000 people. And God said, 32,000 लोगों के साथ लेके कहाँ जाओगे? Then Gideon said, God, Midianite people are much more and they are huge, so that is why I made an army of 32,000. Then God said, no. 32,000 is too much. Just go to your army and just ask them, how many of you are scared you can go back home? And then Gideon went and said, hey army, listen to me. We are all going to fight the Midianites. How many of you are getting scared? And to Gideon's surprise, many people went back. And then Gideon said, God, even I am scared. But God said, listen to me, I'm there with you, just obey. You can't leave even if you're scared, because you are the leader. And you know what? In 32,000 people, 22,000 people ran away and went back to their homes. And there were just 10,000 people remaining. And God said to Gideon, hey Gideon, 10,000 is still too many. And then Gideon was like taken by a surprise, and he said, God, first of all, 32,000 people were itself less, and now you're saying 10,000 is less? God, what do you want me to do? Then God said, Gideon, just obey. Take them to the river. To the river? Yes, go take them to the river and do what I say. And Gideon took all the 10,000 people to the river and God said, ask them to drink water. And God has different ways of working in your life. Our thoughts are not similar as God's thoughts. Remember, our thinking is totally different from God's thinking. And He asked them to drink water, and all those 10,000 people started to drink water. Some people licked the water like how dogs lick, like that. And some people lifted the water from the river like this and drank like this. And then God said, hey Gideon, just watch the people. All those who are drinking like dogs, send them away. And you know what? There were only 300 people remaining. There were only 300 people remaining. Gideon was totally taken by a surprise, and he says, God, what am I ever going to do with this 300 people? How am I going to win the battle, God? He said, just relax, Gideon. I am there with you. Just close your eyes and just obey me. Just do what I say, and I'm going to give you the victory. And then God said, okay, fine. Gideon said, okay, fine, God. And then he said, okay, from tomorrow start preparing for the war. And Gideon in his heart was still afraid, but he still did what God said. And he kept obeying point to point. And then God said, start preparing for your war. And then he started. They all of them bought their big swords and all that, and they were sharpening it. And then God said, okay, fine, good, all done. Okay, now I'm going to ask you to take 3 different things for the war. And Gideon was excited. He was thinking God is going to provide him with new big guns, or new big bombs that would destroy the army camp of the Midianites. And then God said, the first thing that you need to take is a trumpet. Gideon what say? Gideon said, God, a trumpet? Baja leke jao? Then God said, yes, Gideon, just do what I say. Take a trumpet. All the 300 of you must have trumpets in your hand. He said, okay, God, you are saying I'm doing it. But God, we are going for a war. We are not going for a marriage or for some singing competition or something. We are going for a war, and you're asking us to take a trumpet. God said, yes. And the second thing that you're going to take is a big pitcher. Ek matka. Gideon was like, God, matka leke kyun jaun? Just obey, Gideon, just obey. And the third thing that you got to take is a mashal, a torch. Those days there was no this electric type of torches. Ek bada lakdi hota tha, ek big stick, and at the end of the stick they used to tie a cloth and then kerosene, and then they put fire on it, and those used to be the torches. You must have seen in olden days movies sometimes, like Jhansi Ki Rani ka movies and Tippu Sultan movies and all. They used to go for war like that. The same way God asked him, and Gideon was still confused, and he says, these 3 things, God, trumpet, a pitcher and a torch, what am I going to do? And God said, just don't worry, just relax, just sleep well, and then tomorrow you're going to fight out the Midianites. And Gideon was still afraid in the heart, and he said, God, I really don't know what your ways are, but I know your ways are different than my ways. Your thoughts are different than my thoughts. Your thinking is different than my thinking. I trust you completely, God. Whatever you want me to do, I will do. I will obey dot to dot. And you know what? The next night, they all surrounded. They all went walking at midnight. They They walked around the camp. They surrounded the Midianite army camp. And when God gave the signal, you know what? All of them together blew the trumpets as loud as they can. You know what? 300 trumpets blowing together loud and clear. Pa, 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 pa. Just imagine 300 trumpets and that whole army is asleep. And at the midnight, just imagine, somebody coming near your ears and blowing a big horn. But remember, 300 trumpets blowing at the same time just outside your house. Oh my, these guys got scared. The Midianite army woke up and they didn't know what was happening. And you know what? The history says they took their knives and they started to fight with each other. They started to kill each other inside their own camp because they got terrified, like what was going on wrong. First of all, they were asleep and suddenly this big sound, and they were quite surprised, and they didn't know what to do, and they started to fight with each other. They started to kill each other, and God gave the second signal, and God said, hey, all the three of you, throw your big pitchers to the ground. And all the 300 people threw those big matkas on the ground, and when they threw it on the ground shook. Just imagine 300 pitchers at the same time, and that was itself a different sound. And these guys were terrified by all these different sounds coming just right outside their camp, and they were so confused. They started to fight each other. They started to kill each other. Or pata hai aap logon ko, they killed each other so many that very few of the army were left. And then they took the torches inside, and God said, now go inside and kill the remaining. And dear friends, when they went inside, there were very few people remaining, and Gideon was taken up by a surprise, and he said, God, this you could have also done with 32,000 people, but why only 300? Then God said, hey Gideon, if you would have taken 32,000 people with you, you would have said, I did it with my power, but I, your God, want to tell you that it's me who gives you victory. It is God who gives you victory. Yes, dear friends, it is God who gives us victory. When we walk in the right path of life, which God has given us, and which elders say, and which teachers give. I think no parents will ever guide any children in a wrong way. No teacher would ever guide children in a wrong way. Yes, and that is all God's ways. When we walk right in God's path, victory is for sure, dear friends. When we study well, and when we don't have concentration in any other things, and we just concentrate on one thing, I'm sure victory is at your place. Victory is there for you. Yes, dear guys, to win, we need to obey. To win, we need to obey. And obey all your teachers, obey all your what your parents say. Take the good things in life. Walk in a way that you would please God. And if you please God, God will make you a winner. Any aspect of life, God has walked through all the parts of life, and He knows whether it is a game, whether it is your studies, or whether it is your ambition, whatever. Just put it at God's feet and just obey what God says, and He will take you to victory. God bless you, children. God bless you. See you next Saturday.